What's up, you guys? It's Amber and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. And if you are new here, you should definitely subscribe. Damn, I haven't said that intro in a while. So for today's video, I am finally going to be filming a long overdue update on my finger tattoos. Before we even get into it, if you guys have not seen my previous vlog where I got finger tattoos, go check that out just so you can kind of get a feel for my tattoos and a little bit more in depth with my experience. I kind of told a little bit more of my experience over there. And now it is 3 years later for those finger tattoos. So I figured I would do a little update and answer some FAQs from the last vlog, because the last vlog ended up getting quite a few views and it had a ton of comments underneath the video of people who were curious about finger tattoos, who wanted to get some for themselves. And so I figured that I could just share my journey with you guys and show you how they're holding up. So if you yourself are curious about finger tattoos and want to know if you should get one, then just keep watching. So before we get into the questions, first I'm going to show you guys each tattoo. First one is this tattoo here on my middle finger, and this one says the word darling. I actually got this one because my great grandmother always called me and my cousins and like all of our family members darling. She'd be like, "Hello darling, how are you?" She was just the sweetest. So I wanted to get that one. Then over on my ring finger, I have a little paw print, and I got this for my dog Tundi, and I wanted to get it on my ring finger. So it's a very special symbolic finger, and my dog means the world to me. Tundra is my first dog that was my own dog and that I got to raise. I don't know, you have to go through the ups and downs. People don't know what it's like getting a puppy until it happens to them. They think it's all peaches and cream, but there are definitely really scary parts of having a dog that a lot of people don't talk about. So Tundra is just really, really important to me. So I had to get a little symbol of that on my ring finger. Then the last one I got is a semicolon, and it's on my opposite middle finger to the darling tattoo. And that one is for suicide awareness. And I know I've touched on depression in my videos kind of a lot. Like I try to be open about my personal struggle with depression. Hand in hand with depression oftentimes come suicidal thoughts, and a lot of people unfortunately do go through with it, and it's really unfortunate and it really sucks. And I know a lot of people affected personally by suicide, and I don't know, it just breaks my heart. So I definitely wanted to have this one as a reminder. I have a lot of reasons to stay, and when those thoughts come to your mind, you could be having the best day, you could be having the best life, you could have the best people around you, but like that chemical imbalance in your brain sometimes just forces thoughts that you can't control. And I'm no psychiatrist, so I'm not on here trying to like give advice, but if you're looking for a reason to stay, just please stay. There are reasons to stay. So that's just for awareness that it is a problem, and some people think suicide is just not a problem at all, and it is a problem, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. It definitely is important to me to raise awareness for that kind of a subject. And with that being said, I will have some hotlines down below if you need to talk to anyone, just in case this video happens to cross, you know, a path of someone who needs a little bit of help. I will have some resources down below, so go check that out. But anyway, that is it for my finger tattoos. I just have 3, and I do plan on getting more. I love them. So the first question is, how have your finger tattoos held up over the past year? Which now it's been 3 years. I want to get a middle finger tat as well. I have 2 artists telling me how bad it'll look. Do you still love them? I still love mine so much. I will say that my darling one is the only one that really has faded or given me any sort of problem. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of like self-inflicted. If you'll notice up here at the beginning of the word, the D and the A are kind of smudged. And that is because I went straight to work after getting this tattoo. Like, I don't know if it was the same day, I think it was the next day, but I went back to work and I opened a beer bottle with this finger. And oh my God, the pain that I experienced from cutting this tattoo. Oh my God, it hurt so bad. It felt like a paper cut, but like on crack. It was awful. So just be careful. Don't go to work if you can afford to not go to work after getting a finger tattoo. If you use your hands a lot, you know, if you're typing, if you work at a desk job, you're gonna be fine. But if you're out there using your hands, I would wait a couple days. I would get the tattoo on a vacation or on a weekend where you have a couple days to kind of recover, or wear a band-aid when you go to work. Because they do say to let it breathe and, you know, heal naturally, but I wish I put a band-aid on it, because then it would have probably saved it. And in the future, I could go get it touched up. Like I could get some white ink put in the middle of the A to kind of make it look like an A again, but it doesn't bother me, and I'm I'm the only one that sees it every day, but just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I would say the paw print is holding up the best. It's super cute. It's still pretty much perfect. However, with the paw print and with the semicolon tattoos, my skin did reject part of the ink. Now keep in mind, when you get a tattoo, depending on your skin, and I guess other factors probably affect it as well, the skin doesn't always accept the ink. Like sometimes the ink won't absorb into your skin and certain parts of it will just scab up and just fall out. Like your skin just is like, I'm not having that. And on the little pad part of the paw print, some of the ink had fallen out back when I first got the tattoo. Now I could have gotten it touched up, and I still can go get it touched up in the future if I want, which I might. Maybe at like the 5-year mark, I'll go get them touched up. I just didn't feel like it was necessary, and I just like how they look. But yeah, they held up pretty well, I would say. Did they hurt, and how long did it take to get a finger tattoo? I would say that out of all of the tattoos that I have, these ones probably did hurt the most, just because it's thinner skin. In any area that has really thin skin, like the closer you are to the bone, it is gonna hurt. It's gonna be a little bit more sensitive. So do just keep that in mind. However, these ones were kind of on like a fatty part of my finger, so it didn't really hurt too bad, and they were so quick. That's the one thing about finger tattoos. They're so quick. It took me probably under 10 minutes to get both the darling and the paw print, because I got those both the same day. It took under 10 minutes. It was so fast. That's one of my favorite parts, because I am not the type of person who could sit there for hours and get tattoos. Kudos to all of you guys with sleeves. I love small little dainty tattoos because I just cannot sit there. I don't have the attention span. If I did sit there for longer, I think I would probably fall asleep, so it wouldn't be the worst. I don't know. I like being in and out, and I like getting a bunch of tattoos at once. I guess it's preference, but I just love how quick they are. I've been planning on getting a few finger tattoos. I was wondering how much you paid so I can have an idea of the average cost. Here's where it gets a little crazy. So for the darling and the paw print tattoo, I got them both on the same day from the same shop. The shop minimum, I believe, was $100. So I'm pretty sure I paid $120 for both tattoos. And then I did tip her as well. So I mean, it depends on the shop minimum, because finger tattoos are usually so small that they're only gonna charge you the minimum that the shop charges. But then with the semicolon, for just this one tattoo, I'm pretty sure their shop minimum was $100 as well. So for this tattoo, I paid $100, which was crazy. Depends on the shop minimum how much you're gonna pay. I'm getting my first finger tat soon, and I'm scared that it'll hurt. Any tips? I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, they do hurt, I would say, for the average person. I'm not trying to act all tough, but like, I don't know, tattoo pain just doesn't really bother me. And the biggest tattoo that I have is on my side, and it is probably about the size of this business card, maybe a little bit shorter, but like that is about the area that it takes up on my side. And that one probably took, I don't know, 15, maybe 30 minutes tops. And I was like falling asleep during it. I think it just depends on the person. I would just go into it making sure that you drink a lot of water, have something to eat that day, play some music if you want. Ask your tattoo artist if they mind if you put headphones in. I doubt they're gonna mind. Just listen to some music, and if you have a good artist that you're feeling comfortable with, they'll talk you through it and they'll make you feel good. My first tattoo that I ever got was this tiny little arrow that I am going to get touched up. I won't lie, I love it, but I'm gonna get something done with it so it looks a little bit better. But I was so scared just for this tiny little thing. I had no idea what it was gonna feel like, and my tattoo artist was so sweet, and he talked me through it, even though I felt so stupid for being so nervous when he had tattoos all over himself. I'm like, this guy thinks I'm such a pussy probably, but like, whatever. I still was nervous, and he still talked me through it, and that's the kind of artist you wanna find. I don't know, anyone who's gonna be snobby and, you know, make you feel stupid is just not who you want doing your tattoo. The way that he made me feel a little bit better about it is the way he described the pain was that it felt like a cat scratch. And if you guys have ever gotten scratched by a cat, their nails are so sharp. They're different than like any other animal. They're different than a dog scratch. Cats are just, it's like a paper cut almost. It's like that like stinging pain. That's kind of what a tattoo felt like to me. And that's how he described it, as just that like stinging. It's just a little bit annoying almost. It's like an uncomfortable pain, but it's not super painful where it's gonna make you cry, I don't think. I don't know, I would just make sure you are hydrated and have something to eat, because it's not uncommon that you will faint or get lightheaded just out of nerves. And also it's an adrenaline rush. That's why a lot of people like getting tattoos. Just keep that in mind. How long did it take for them to heal? It didn't take long at all. I feel like they were fully healed in a couple of weeks. It's kind of hard to remember, but I do use a couple of different lotions. I'm gonna put one of the lotions up on the screen because I forget the brand name of it because I don't have any right now, but I swear by it. And then also I recommend using Vaseline, but also keep in mind your artist will tell you their own instructions on how they want you to care for it. So do ask your artist first. But just me personally, I always would put a little thin layer of Vaseline on my tattoos because it would kind of help just heal the ink, and Vaseline's really good for healing your skin anyway. And also, if your skin ever does start rejecting the ink, like if it starts getting a little bit scabby or crusty and it's like starting to fall out, don't pick it. Try to just continue to put that thin little layer of lotion or Vaseline on it and just kind of help to hydrate it. I was gonna get a finger tat, not on the side, but on the top of my finger, so like up here. My friend got one and said it's one of the most painful places you can get a tat. He said he couldn't even stand still. How was your experience? See, that's another thing where I feel like it depends on the person. I would think that on the top it would be a little bit better than the side where it's directly touching a bone, but again, that's just me. Anywhere where you have a little bit more skin or a little bit more of like fat or cushion, whatever, that's gonna be an easier, less painful place to get it for sure. So I don't know, in my opinion, I just feel like the tops wouldn't be as bad, but again, it's a very sensitive place getting a tattoo on your hands or fingers in general. I would just say maybe first start off with a really, really small tattoo, somewhere where you can kind of hide it. I like getting it inside my finger because if your hands are closed, no one knows you have them. They're very easy to conceal. You could cover them with makeup if you wanted, if you needed to go for like a job interview or something. So I would just suggest maybe getting a really small one first, seeing how you like it, seeing how it feels to get a tattoo. Then you're gonna have an idea of what it feels like and it's gonna make it easier to get a bigger tattoo. So that would be my advice. Someone says, how do these finger tattoos look now? Did you get them touched up after? My tattoos still look pretty great in my opinion. I can see that they probably will fade more and more over the years, and I'm definitely not opposed to getting them touched up, as I mentioned. So I probably will go get them touched up in a couple years, or even if I go to get my next tattoo, sometimes if you're like, hey, you know, would you mind touching up some of my other tattoos? Sometimes the artist says yes, sometimes they say no, or you know, you can call up a shop first and be like, hey, I want to get a tattoo. Can I also have some of my other tattoos fixed up? And just see what they say. Also, just a heads up, call before you go to get a finger tattoo because certain shops won't do it strictly for the fact that they fade for some people. But just another example of why it kind of is like person to person, it depends. Another tattoo that they say fades so quickly, like as in under 6 months, is a tattoo inside of your lip. But I know someone who still has a lip tattoo like years later. So again, it just kind of depends on your skin and I guess how fast your skin sheds its layers and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but just a guess. Rate the pain 1 to 10. I would probably say in general, like a 5, and that's being a little bit generous because I feel like I sat there and I just kind of watched, and then you know at one point when it got near the bone, I just looked away and kind of just breathed really deeply because it does sting. And then as she got to the more fatty area, it was fine. So I would say overall probably a 5. And then something that's more directly on the bone, like the collarbone, I would say that must hurt more. Did they say not to get it wet? They definitely said not to shower the first day. So I think you gotta give it like 24 hours before getting it wet just because you need the ink to kind of set in and you don't want to ruin it. Just like you're not really supposed to touch it too much, but each place is different. Like one place I went told me to keep it covered all night and one place told me, no, you don't have to keep it covered, do whatever you want. So again, it kind of depends on your artist. I would definitely suggest asking them, but you're also not supposed to go swimming or get it in sunlight or anything like that the first day because it needs to heal. Can you work with a finger tattoo? This kind of goes hand in hand with my story from earlier about how I fucked this one up. Yes, you can, but if you work with your hands, be so careful and wear a freaking Band-Aid or like ace bandage. Do you think they've faded from washing your hands a lot? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm someone who washes my hands a lot, especially at work. I'm always washing my hands at work. I've never actually really thought of that though. That could be a factor, I don't know. I have not personally noticed that that has made them fade any faster because I still feel like they're holding up pretty well for how long it's been. But that's a good question. I might have to do a little bit more research on that. And also one of my biggest tips would probably be to just keep your hands hydrated. I think keeping your hands hydrated and putting lotion on would really help. And I put on just Jergens lotion, or is it Aveeno? I don't know, something like that. Some sort of unscented lotion. Last question, would you still recommend them even though they may fade and smudge? I would say yes. Just me personally, I would 100% recommend them if you want them even though they fade. Life is short. You know what I mean? Get the tattoo. Honestly, I might not even make it to see them fade off my skin, who knows? But all I know is they make me happy now. That may not be the best advice, but that's just my personal opinion. One of the main reasons why I actually got finger tattoos is because I grew up hating my hands. My hands are just bigger than everybody else's normally. I mean, they're like, I have big hands. I got big mitts. I hated it as a kid, and now that I'm older, I don't mind it, especially now that I'm a waitress. Girl, I can carry so much shit with these hands. Also, I got finger tattoos because it just made my hands look a little bit bit prettier in my opinion, and I just enjoy seeing them. Like whenever I'm, you know, typing, or if I'm just like holding my hands out and I get a glimpse of them, I'm just like, wow, that's so pretty. But of course, not everybody feels the same. Some people look at them, you know, if I'm at work handing them a drink or handing them their food, and they're like, ugh, and they just look down on tattoos. But also, you cannot please everybody. You really cannot. It's up to you at the end of the day. But I would totally say get the tattoo. Mine are holding up great. Just take care of your hands. Be extra careful. Just remember at this point, it's like a little beauty mark. It's part of your skin now. And just like on your skin, you could cut your skin and, you know, have a scar. That could happen with these too. So just make sure that you put on lotion, keep your skin hydrated, and you're gonna be good to go. But yeah, I think that is it for my update on the finger tattoos. Let me know if you guys want to see any other tattoo related videos. I would love to do maybe a tattoo story time and just talk about like all of my tattoos. Before I go, this is this week's shout out of the week. Shout out to you, boo. And if you want a chance to be a future shout out, just make sure you are subscribed and following me on social media for a chance to be a next shout out. But yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.